Good.
1, 2.
Welcome to Believe, the Conspiracy Theory Podcast, a brand new podcast presented by me, Phil Green.
And me, David Ferguson.
And we are two comedians presenting a podcast, a brand new and novel concept in the world of podcasting.
No one else has done this.
No one else has ever done this.
No.
We are groundbreaking new territory. So this is the Believe podcast. It is a podcast all about the world's craziest conspiracy theories. And in each episode, we're going to bring on a guest, and that guest is going to pick a conspiracy theory that they believe in, or maybe they don't believe in, or maybe they just think it's the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard. And we're going to talk about that conspiracy theory, and we're going to either try and debunk it, or we're going to try and prove it, or let's face it, absolutely none of the above, because none of us are very well informed on this stuff.
No.
Now, you are very much a believer when it comes to conspiracy theories.
Yes.
I am very much a cynic. I'm very much the Scully to your Mulder. Why do you think people believe in conspiracy theories? What makes people believe in conspiracy theories?
Because it's the truth.
All right, let's get on with it.
The reason people believe in conspiracy theories is they want to compartmentalize chaos. So it's a chaotic world out there. Bad things happen, good things happen. We don't know why, but conspiracy theories help explain all that.
Do you think it's that people want to believe in something? These are people who believe in conspiracy theories want to believe in something that deviates from a social norm, of an accepted social norm.
Yes, because what it is if you believe in a conspiracy theory, you've got the inside track on what's really happening, and people like that. People want to have that power and that control. Like, oh, you fools, you've fallen for this, but I know what's really going on. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But, that's why.
But you've met David Icke, so
I've met David Icke many years ago.
He knows.
And that's just by believing something that other people don't because you're smarter.
And do you think the rise of social media is fueling believing conspiracy theories?
Definitely. But it's also highlighting a lot of things, and we just can't believe what they tell us, so it's better to be questioning. An unexamined life is not worth living.
There you go. Wise words.
Yeah.
So our first guest on the podcast is the fabulous comedian Louise Atkinson.
Oh, I love Louise.
One of our favorite people in the world. Louise is an award-winning stand-up comedian. Her debut show, Mates, was at the Edinburgh Fringe this year. It won a big comedy award. It got nominated for a load of other awards. It is a fantastic show. Loads of people went to see it. She's taking it on tour next year, so do check it out. Follow her on social media. It's brilliant. I'll be honest with you. She's very matter-of-fact. She will tell it like it is, whether we like it or not. But we are very excited to have her on.
Well, please welcome to the podcast.
Or we should say what she's talking about. The conspiracy theory that Louise has chosen to talk about is the ruling class want us to eat bugs.
Eat the bugs. Please welcome Louise Atkinson.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
It's an urban legend.
Like, if they're actually spraying something in the sky.
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Louise Atkinson.
Yay!
Woo! How are you, Lou?
Not too bad. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Good to see you.
Mm-hmm. You've got your glasses on. Are they new?
They're fairly new, but I need them because I have to read in this podcast.
They are useful for that.
They are
Glasses.
useful for
Side.
that. Yeah, as you know. Yeah. You wear glasses normally.
I don't.
But you don't do any reading for this podcast. You just memorize everything.
I memorize.
And David has laser vision now as well.
I do, yes.
Oh yeah, you got bionic eyes.
I've got bionic eyes.
Yeah.
Bionic eyes, and so I can see into the distance, but I couldn't read that.
David had laser treatment. Was this time last year? No.
No. It's only been 3 months. It's only been 3 months.
Like Cyclops from X-Men.
Yeah. It was.
And then
just
you
before.
wore massive They Live sunglasses for about 3 months.
Which he told us were for his laser eyes, but really he was just an absolute diva. He was just roaming around with shades on.
Oh my God, I've never felt like such a dickhead in my life.
We went to see the Barbie movie, obviously, a week after it was released, and he wore them during the Barbie movie and took 2 Barbies sitting next to us in the middle chair. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And my baby.
That was about the most masculine thing we've ever done, I think.
Totally.
It's pretty cool.
Me hanging out with lots of hot women.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair,
Yeah.
Do you know, when I went to see the Barbie movie, I went on my own. I had a little me date, which I love, because I've never understood going to the cinema with people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun, you go with a friend, but most of the time it's like you go on your own because you're in the dark, not speaking to anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. But I was sat and there was a group of 4 women who were clearly like Do you know in Shirley Valentine, when they see Shirley on her own and they're like, we must help this woman. And they kept trying to talk to me. I'm like, babe, I'm grand. Thank you very much. And I'd ordered a hot dog and they're asking me questions about my hot dog while I'm eating it. I'm like, love, unless you want this sprayed in your face, leave me be.
Which cinema did you go to?
I went to an Everyman cinema. I'd got a night, because I treated myself. I was on a little
You went to a
B-day,
posh cinema.
and I was in a nice big single chair, right? Because there's other big surfers, which they were plonked their fat asses on. And I was in a single one. I was like, what part of it? Unless I can put up a partition, which I'm happily do, it pissed me off. I don't know if that's coming across.
A little bit, yeah.
I just want to be on my own.
So here's the thing, Lou. You're very honest.
It's going to be a diplomatic answer.
It is. You tell it like it is, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that's seen Louise's comedy will know this. You're very blunt. You tell it like it is.
I go for the spade,
You very much a spade. You have that whole charm, right?
Thank you.
And you're very like, I think as comedians go, you're kind of like, generally we consider you to be quite mentally stable. But
How dare you?
but then if anyone that follows you on Instagram will also know that you have completely kitted out your flat like Santa's grotto. So then it makes you go, oh no, there's something there.
So there is a bit of a story behind this, because first of all, the first time I made a Christmas fort, right? And it is phenomenal. This year,
phenomenal.
I made a snow wall, a fake snow wall that lights up. I'm basically a Santa's workshop engineer.
Do you add a new thing every year?
It's because every year my ADHD takes over and goes, you should get more stuff. That's what happens. So it's not on purpose, I would say. But it started in lockdown. And the reason it did is because in my flat, the landlady had a tree in the loft. And I said, can I borrow this? And she said, yes. The flat, I have now figured out, is just about 6 foot tall. And this tree is that. So it's literally floor to ceiling. I was like, well, that don't fit in here, does it, love? So I was like, I can't be having this massive tree. So I made a Christmas fort instead. Mm-hmm. And it is delightful.
It is delightful, yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. I also have a cardboard cut out of Chris Hemsworth with the Santa hat.
Yeah.
The real Santa we all wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some other bits and bobs as well. I like to just sit in it and try and eat my body weight in cheese. I go through a week, I think, is a good attaining goal for eating your body weight in cheese. No.
Good. Well, it's good ambition. Why Chris, not Liam?
Phil, if you're going to ask stupid questions, I'm going to leave this podcast.
Storm out this podcast. You think that's stupid? You wait till honestly. Conspiracy theories. How do you feel about conspiracy theories?
They're a load of bollocks. I don't know why I'm here.
Mostly because this is like early episodes of the podcast, and I won't lie to you, we're on a budget. We just need someone with an opinion right now.
And I'm happy to give one. What a load of shit. It's usually someone wearing I don't mean to sweep with a broad brush, but someone's got a tin hat on and they'll have been somewhere and they won't have any friends. And then it'd be like, oh, well, this person's also mental. Let's partner up with them.
Yeah, fair.
Right?
Are there any conspiracy theories that you buy into a little bit?
No.
Okay.
It's just not my bag.
Okay. Interesting. Because I think of you I don't think of you as a conformist though. At the same time.
No, but I will call someone out for being a dickhead, because at the end of the day, someone's got to tell them. Yeah. So if someone's being a dickhead, I'm like, excuse me, do you realise you're being a dickhead? So I'll happily call someone out, and I don't like authority. I have a problem. But at the same time, do you know what's really great? Facts. They're fantastic at facts. And I don't like people who take stuff and go, well, you know, it could be this. I'm like, yeah, and in certain lights, I could be jailer. Don't mean it's bloody true, does it, knobhead? And it just pisses me off that we just make shit out of nothing. This is why we have people who are trained in specific areas, and we should listen to them. We should not listen to Tony in Weatherspoons with his conspiracy theory about beans.
Why do you think people believe in conspiracy theories, though? Why do you think people buy into them?
Have a social life.
How do you feel about that?
I have a social life. I believe in an unexamined life is not worth living. And they're lying to us. They are. They, whoever they are, they're lying to us. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a real flip as well if I was actually the head of all conspiracy theories and this is all a ruse that I'm putting on?
Oh my God.
It's disinformation!
So, Speaking of authority, this ties in quite nicely to your lack of respect for authority, though, this conspiracy theory. So the conspiracy theory that Louise has chosen is the ruling class want us to eat bugs. So I'll give you a bit of background. A plan to enslave the masses in a kind of survivalist dystopia where freedom is a thing of the past and the only thing left to eat is insects. There are several instances of European right-wing politicians lobbying a conspiracy theory that global elites want people to eat bugs. In mid-March, a Dutch member of parliament tweeted, "We will not eat the bugs," accompanied by a photo of himself holding a microphone in one hand and pouring golden mealworms out of a bag in the other. Earlier in the month, Poland's ruling Nationalist Party alleged that the opposition was trying to push citizens into eating worms, prompting the opposition to hit back with a similar accusation. The accusations arrived shortly after the European Union approved mealworms and crickets as food ingredients. And we thought Brexit was a waste of time. Could have been us, Lou. Could have been us eating those.
Why am I here? What is the state of this? Like, what is that?
How
People don't
people
think
believe
this.
it.
Oh, they do. And Carl Schwab has said it.
Ooh,
Carl Schwab,
ooh.
head of the World Economic Forum.
Oh, the fucking state of it. What's he said?
Eat the bugs.
Why?
So there's loads of reasons behind why they want us to eat the bugs. Because whilst they're very, very high in protein, they also cause allergic reactions. So we are not, human beings aren't designed to eat bugs because of the chitin, we have an allergic reaction to it. So a lot of skin conditions are actually because you're allergic to bugs, like bed bugs or just insects in general. So if you start consuming it, you're going to have more allergic reactions. It is a good source of protein, like mealworms are a good source of protein.
Because I went to, have you ever been to one of the Science Museum lates?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which are banging and
They
it's
are
just
really
grown-ups
cool.
getting drunk around things exploding. Like, I don't understand what could go wrong. And the one I went to was looking at sort of sustainability and what's going on in the future. And there were pop-up stalls of businesses who sell bugs as food.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, I had some of them and they weren't that bad.
What do you eat?
There was some sort of grasshopper. It was almost like he did it in a Nando's style format. There was like sort of lemon and what's the
A lemon and herb.
lemon and herb.
You were lemon and herb Nando's?
No, absolutely not. How dare you? But like,
Same.
it went from that all the way up to like extreme hotness. There was some other like mealwormy stuff. I thought it was fine, and I didn't die. But then I did grow up in the north, eating all kinds of shit. So I don't know. But like, I think it's fine. Also, you're out and about, you must be eating bugs all the time, and we're still here. We're not dead, are we? That's
another conspiracy theory.
Yeah. I had chocolate cockroaches in India.
Oh yeah, that's some of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've had chocolate covered ants. Selfridges used to have a whole wall of them, like a scorpion
a
and a
whole
lot.
wall of chocolate covered ants.
Well,
You'd have
like
you'd have a
scorpion.
mound of ants.
No,
Selfridges are fucked up there.
No, it was like shelves.
Like a pick and mix.
Yeah. That would be great.
That's two beetles, an ant,
Great.
You could get a scorpion
and a
in a lollipop.
yeah.
And if you've had tequila, you've had the worm. You've had
Someone's just
That's
sat there
true,
going, Willy
that's
Wonka is really smacked off his tits now. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That factory's gone well tits up.
I think
Bugs in
that
the food.
tequila with the worm is nicer than tequila without the worm.
I absolutely agree. I
Have you had
absolutely
tequila
agree.
with the worm in?
I'm not a tequila person.
I love
I,
tequila.
I like tequila. Tequila does not like me.
Tequila doesn't like anyone.
Oh no, but anything with kill in the name is going to ruin you, isn't it? But like, it's
Tequila makes me happy.
Oh no. But
vodka that makes me
I'll
angry.
tell you one. I think I did learn. A mate of mine taught me this, and she was from Austria, because we have it with the salt and the lime. And she told me to try it with cinnamon and orange. So you'd like lit the cinnamon and bite the orange, and that gives it more of a warming effect than a bitter.
Cinnamon and orange.
Very Christmassy.
Nice. Very-
Yeah. So
Wanna
I
try
really
that?
liked
Let's
it. And
do
it
it.
was more warming than bitter, but me passing out in a toilet cubicle was still the same. It didn't fix that, but it was quite nice.
But at least your vomit tastes of cinnamon.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's a
Christmassy.
joyous chunder.
Rainbow vomit.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be delighted to know that this conspiracy theory is not just held in Europe, but also in America, a place
Shocking.
known for being rational. Similarly, in America, some partisan influencers think there is a similar plot. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration permits small amounts of insect matter to be included in foods. There was a Bloomberg opinion piece last year entitled "Why Bugs Must Be a Bigger Part of the Human Food Chain." A conservative commentator called Michael Knowles made a YouTube video where he's waving a printout of the story saying the ruling class really, really wants us to eat bugs, two reallys. The story he referred to actually focused on the insect's potential as high-nutrient animal feed and on insects' ability to produce human food waste, rather than as food for human consumption. So he's taken it and completely missold what it was actually about, which is part of the problem with conspiracy theories.
Or he's just seeing the truth.
No.
Seeing what he wants to see or seeing the truth?
Well, seeing the truth.
Because this is it. Like, that's something that, like, they have to make those allowances, don't they, legally? Because a certain amount is just going to be
Yes.
in food. Do you know what that
permissible.
is called? A fact. So that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't cope with people who take, like, actual legal things, which people have desperately tried to form in the most explicit, clear, defined way. And they, like, go, it's like, do you remember I'm getting very excited. Do you remember in COVID where, what were they trying to do? They were trying to keep us from, well, they were trying to make us not get diseased, and it was another lockdown, and someone was trying to quote habeas corpus. Do you remember that? And they were trying to and they were putting up in shop windows. I'm like, listen, Julie, love, like, this isn't what habeas corpus is. You smacked off your tits, and they were just popping it up everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like that.
This is the lawyer in you talking now.
This is the common sense person in me speaking, and I've no time for it. So what was that again? So there's so because there's an allowance for it, that means that why is it the ruling class that want to do this to us? Because they just want to do that to all of us.
It's a divide and rule, essentially.
They've already succeeded in that. Why do they need to do it with bugs and all?
It's a hat and a hat.
Yeah.
What?
It's a hat and a hat. They've done it, and they're doing
something else.
Yeah, well, it links a little bit into climate. So
that's a conspiracy theory too.
Yes,
The
it's
climate.
a conspiracy theory within a conspiracy theory. So including insects in human food has been an emerging but still marginal idea amongst climate scientists and food security experts. This goes to your why the ruling class tried to do this. It depends on which ruling class, depends on which party. There's a reason why it's mostly right-wing parties that are peddling this stuff. In countries where insects have not been part of the diet, it's an idea that has long been met with hesitancy. No shit. Scientists say it's urgent to cut climate pollution from agriculture, mainly by reducing meat consumption and eating more plant-based food. Using insects as a source of protein is an idea that's floated on the edges of the policy debate, even though the idea is far from taking off. It has captured the public's imagination in the US in the early 2010s when the press covered United Nations reports about edible insects, initially as a way to improve food security. In recent years, however, this aversion has fused with a conspiracy theory in which a shadowy global elite conspires to control the world's population. The theory being that eating bugs isn't just a matter of disgust or questioning the impact of climate change, it's framed as a matter of individual freedom and government control.
So when you had to research this and you had to read all of this, did you ever think to yourself, wow, one, I either wish I hadn't learnt to read, or two, think of the actual things I could have been doing with my time?
Lou, if you'd seen some of the other episodes of this podcast, you would realise I have not learned to read that well. Did I have to read this through a few times before I came here? Yes, I did.
So what was that? Some Sauron's ruling class, is it? The dark, shadowy overtones? Is that what that was?
Yeah. Essentially, it is parties not in power trying to paint other parties in power as wanting you to eat bugs. Essentially, it is a divide and rule thing. It's a them or us thing. It's basically leveraged as a way of painting a party or painting an opposition as lunatics and untrustworthy. You can't trust these people. They're going to make you eat bugs.
I would say my political knowledge is medium foundational level, but from my perspective, they've got enough to go on to make other parties look fucking mental right now. Do they need the bug thing as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
They're
it's
not
rational.
short of ammunition, are they?
Yeah.
Like, oh, do you know what? Do you think all this other bits and bobs going tits up, do you think that's enough? No, I think we should throw in bugs as well. Like, why?
Well, I think the part of it is, so I think from a European perspective, this is about EU legislation, right? It's an anti-EU stance. It doesn't really matter what it is. They're leveraging this as look how ridiculous the EU are for bringing in this legislation. But actually, the legislation is relatively harmless. They've just exaggerated this for political gain. What do you think?
I think they just want to make it everybody play I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. That's what I
Exactly,
really think.
they're eating bugs and they're fine. They get millions of pounds.
They're not fine. Look at them.
One of them.
None of us are fine.
No.
At least they're rich and fine.
Yeah, God, I'd be okay with that. Rich and fine.
What would be your thing? What would be your thing on I'm a Celebrity that you wouldn't want to do?
Oh, I would do it all because I want to experience it. I want to be the person that did it all that. Like even like kangaroo testicles, I'd even do that.
Interesting.
That bit wouldn't bother me. I think the height
Eating
stuff,
testicles wouldn't
when they have
bother
to
you?
do like stuff at great heights.
Are you afraid of heights?
Not really, but I think if I had to do something, like there was a bit. Did you watch the episode of it the other day when they?
No, I don't actually watch it.
No, me neither. But I just saw this thing on social media, and they were on poles at the top of a building. This was like before they go into the jungle, and they had to like collect stars, and it's like the tallest building in, I don't know, Brisbane or
Oh,
somewhere.
I've seen clips of
Yeah,
it.
and they have to crawl right out to the edge. That, I think, would appeal to me a lot less than just being in a tank full of snakes. Because the snakes they're not going to kill you. They wouldn't put you in a tank full of snakes that are going to kill you.
Yeah, this is what I thought, but my problem is, is it the opposite? I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
So the thing at heights, I've done stuff like that. I've jumped off things and I've been up buildings and walked around them, like stuff like that doesn't bother me. But it wouldn't be the animal. Anything. They could not put an animal in there, and it would be the close when they're like under a tunnel or something.
Oh, that's
So the buried alive thing would be a big no-no.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. It's why when I die, if I die,
Eat more bugs.
Eat more bugs.
You might not.
I'd want to do that thing. You know, in like Victorian times, they'd have a bell on the outside of the coffin.
Yeah.
I'd want that, just in case some because because I'm so gobby, somebody's gonna try and kill me. So I would want a bell on just in case.
Would anyone dare, Louise?
But if they were going to do it, I think they'd go for poisoning because I wouldn't be suspected of that. So if I've been poisoned but not enough and I'm just unconscious for a while, I'd want a bell on the outside going, "Excuse me, I'm still very much alive in here. Could you please help me?"
I won't lie to you. If you woke up, I don't think you're going to need a bell. People will definitely know you're awake.
Boy!
The fuck's going on?
Well, maybe that's what, instead of a bell, I'd just have a button that's like an intercom. Excuse me!
Okay, so fueling the theory. So there's a reason why this has come to the forefront in the last few years. It's not a new conspiracy theory particularly, but pre-COVID and COVID kind of accelerated it quite a lot.
When did it start, sorry?
Well, so
there we go.
The actual meme or the quote, "I will not eat bugs," actually started in 2019. So disinformation researcher ironically tweeted the meme, "I will not eat bugs," as a reaction.
Sorry, did this start from a meme?
Yes.
Oh, everything starts from memes.
Everything starts
now.
from a meme.
It's all about
Get with the
TikTok.
program, Lou.
Please continue.
As a reaction to news stories around this, anonymous users repeated the phrase in response to a photo of climate activist Greta Thunberg, sometimes paired with the phrase, "I will not live in a pod." They then paired the two phrases together, I will not eat the bugs and "I will not live in a pod," which traveled to Twitter, and the phrase then spread. The person that actually originally tweeted it said, "I didn't really expect it to become a meme. There wasn't much thought behind it."
Oh my Christ.
No shit. The owner of the account said, "I was just making fun of people getting upset about articles around that time, and it became a rallying cry." You can't have banter about bugs.
So this is...
It's just, it came from that. Somebody was joking about it because of it's EU legislation and because of just the belief or politicians ramping up the idea that the ruling classes want you to eat bugs. So they created the meme. But the meme itself is a thing that's actually kind of catapulted the whole conspiracy theory and the number of believers.
So has that been presented to the people that believe this?
Oh, I doubt, probably, yeah, but I doubt they care.
Well, that's how they disseminate the information. It starts off as a meme, and then they're hiding in plain sight. That's what they're going to do. They're going to feed you bugs, and this is how they got it out there. I can't believe you're so naive.
I adore.
He thinks Bigfoot's real, so...
What do you do? Bigfoot is real.
No.
Look. When anytime I look in the mirror, I'm a tall, hairy hominid. Bigfoot is real.
I've got lots of hair. I don't think Cousin It's real. It's just the way people look, isn't it?
I'd love it if Cousin It was real.
I mean,
that'd be
for
great.
next Halloween.
Morticia. Oh, I'd love to meet Morticia.
But what was I going to say? No, I've forgotten because it's just ridiculous. Oh, that was it. I love social media. And there's some things that you get off social media which are useful. For example, I learned how to get the mold out of grouting, and I will always be grateful to TikTok for that. However, there is a lot of shit at the minute. The one I'm getting at the minute is reheating your food's bad for you. I'm like, yeah, if you do it 72 times, but like the leftovers are fine.
What, in the microwave or just?
Yeah, it's like the big thing. Why I'm being targeted with this on TikTok, I don't know, because I'll eat anything. I don't give a shit. But like, yeah, it's at the moment, it's like, don't reheat your food. It's covered in bacteria and blah, blah, blah. Because the thing, actually, I blame social media for this, but adverts do as well. Do you know, like when... It's usually Dettol and people like this that do it. It's like, do you know your surfaces are covered in this amount of germs? Dettol will kill them. I'm like, are you not just advertising that your product's redundant? Because you're saying all of our surfaces are covered with this stuff and we're fine.
Also, you know how they say it's like 99.9% of bacteria? Surely that's purely dependent on how good you are at cleaning.
I also love that 0.01%
Yeah,
bacteria
where's
being like, suckers! Come at me.
So the phrase "I will not eat bugs" would later resurface, this is after 2019, as part of the COVID-era conspiracy about government coercion. The conspiracy theory that global elites were seizing an opportunity or even inventing an excuse to exert more control over unknowing population, over an unknowing population flourished, including by forcing them to eat insects. But the pandemic wasn't the start. In 2019, a science fiction writer published a short story titled Live in the Pod and Eat Bugs, set in a dystopian world where the characters had no choice but to eat insects. Also in 2019, a few days after a fire destroyed part of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, a blogger who self-identifies as a has suggested that eating insects is a symbol of our enslavement. I don't know why it's relevant that was a few days after the Notre Dame fire, but anyway.
Well, it was Quasimodo who said that.
Oh, okay,
I think
fine.
that's part of
Makes
the thing
sense.
there.
Most things. Yeah. So
what was the bit before Notre Dame?
So
Paris.
a science fiction writer.
Oh,
published,
that was it. L. Ron Hubbard Jr. was writing this, was he?
Keyword fiction.
Speculative
published a short story
fiction.
titled Live in the Pod and Eat Bugs, set in a dystopian world where the characters had no choice but to eat insects. So this is kind of like, you know how people believe the Matrix is real, but before the Matrix, no one believed the Matrix was real.
Well, the Matrix is very, very interesting because it gave conspiracy theories a language that they could use, that everyone could relate to, because it was such a global phenomenon. So you're part of the Matrix, you're tied up in the system. It doesn't actually necessarily mean the Matrix of the film. It just means that you're tied up in conspiracy, or you're tied up in the way things are. Open your eyes, get red pilled and all that. So what the Matrix did is give language to conspiracy that everyone could understand.
When then was the term conspiracy theory coined? Because obviously if you go back far enough in time, people because their lack of knowledge, they're just gossiping forever. So that was just gossip, and this was a fishwife's tale or whatever. When does it officially become conspiracy theory?
So it was to do with when the JFK assassination. There were so many because what we're told historically about JFK is not accurate.
Oh, I know all about JFK. I had to do it in Year 9 history. And what that consisted of, because I went to a comprehensive school in Yorkshire, was we watched the JFK film.
Yes, that was my education as well.
You had to watch it again and again.
School, baby.
There is one bit.
That and Blackadder. History.
Everyone in my history class, and probably in my year, will know this. There was the same bit you watched again and again. It's in the courtroom.
Yes.
And it was just rewind. It was like, back and to the left. And can we look at that again, please? His head went back and to the left. And can you see that over there? His head went back and to the left. And anytime anyone mentions you did it just now, automatically my head went back and to the left. I don't know. Oh, that and the magic bullet. That's all I know. There's and the grassy knoll. Actually, I know quite a lot. Grassy knoll.
There is. I mean, all the stories about what happened, because there was obfuscation. I don't know that it was Lee Harvey Oswald that actually did it. If you've watched JFK, you've got all that.
You're on the magic umbrella theory thing.
Yeah.
So hang on. So JFK started the
So
term.
JFK, the CIA started saying conspiracy theory because they didn't want their version of events to be changed.
So
Or challenged, sorry.
is our term then today fake news? Is that what term
Yes.
conspiracy theory is?
Yeah, but that came from Donald Trump's camp.
So prior to JFK, what were we calling conspiracy theories?
We weren't calling them anything because people did truth, because people weren't questioning anything.
Yeah.
The 60s were the watershed. They were a change in culture that was 20 years after, World War II. Like everybody believed everything during World War II. And when you look like, I don't want to get into this, but Pearl Harbor was probably allowed to happen, or certainly could have done more, but they want the.
That's quite a strong conspiracy theory. A lot of people.
Yeah, so like, and I don't really want to talk about it because it's like or the
Because
both.
this is a comedy podcast.
This is comedy. See, I get all serious about it. It's like, why do you not believe this? You see,
Louise, do you want to come to some absolute lols? We're doing Pearl Harbor. Oh, please.
all the people who died. So it really was the change in culture. But what facilitated the change in culture was drugs. So,
The thing is, I think people are still daft today, and I've always said this.
Yes.
I think if I got like a really banging suit and went to the southern states of the US, kept the hair the same, maybe a bit bigger, I reckon I could convince people that I'm basically God, and that they should give me all my money, and I could start a cult.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind I could make that work.
Take a lot of sun cream, Lou.
That is so far what is preventing me from going.
That's the barrier.
You can't have a cult leader with a parasol. Like, it doesn't really work. Ooh, I'm here. Like, it really doesn't give me any sort of assertive qualities. But there's no doubt in my mind that I could make that work.
Yeah, it's how convincingly you state your case. That's all it is. And you state.
I think I'd keep the British accent. Well, I'd actually tart it up to be like more proper. Or maybe I would keep it like this because they'd be like, oh, real British people don't speak like that. I'm like, oh, you've learned nothing. I'm like the people in Downton Abbey who live downstairs. Come on. That's what I'd do. There's no doubt in my mind that I'd do it.
Yeah, strong. There was no documentary after JFK, after the film JFK, that debunked, because JFK peddles a particular theory about JFK shooting, and there was a documentary after that completely tears it apart. It wouldn't even be feasible.
Is not a great theory for JFK.
Yeah.
But what is a good theory is there's probably another bullet that wasn't recovered. Like there's like 2 days after the assassination, we couldn't find JFK's brain.
What are you talking about?
It went missing.
The whole brain.
The whole brain. What was left, because it was removed. That's part of the autopsy.
That was not in the film.
No, JFK is a minefield, Lee Harvey. Minefield, yeah. Lee Harvey was probably a CIA asset.
Do you know what I've heard? What they did was they trained a bug and he ate it. Because that would be the ultimate ruling class being like, they'll never expect us to take out one of our own.
Well, there's a whole episode of Star Trek where the Federation is being threatened by mind-controlling bugs. It's a really horrific episode, and it's never referenced again ever. But like that, so I like to think, it started with JFK.
I like to think if I ate a load of bugs inside my body, it would be like a bug's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have like the little cat, the like German caterpillar would be like,
I'm a beautiful butterfly. I'm a beautiful
like in a
butterfly.
Space, like Pixar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, Inner Space by Pixar. How awesome would that be?
I love Inner Space. Pixar.
Yeah.
It mostly stayed the theory mostly stayed on the fringe of public consciousness until early 2020, when many people questioned the stay-at-home measures put in place to stop the spread of COVID-19, as you were talking about earlier. It got an extra boost during the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland, in July 2020, when the chairman, as you mentioned before, announced an initiative called the Great Reset. The Great Reset urged a rethinking of the national and global systems of government in the wake of COVID-19. The gathering of global elites in Davos has long held the imagination of conspiracy theorists, and the initiative quickly became construed as evidence that the global elites were using the outbreak to further enslave the masses. Within months, the Great Reset entered into the right-wing vernacular, with figures such as Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, and Glenn Beck all echoing the idea, according to a report by the Institute of Strategic Dialogue. That's it. During the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in 2022, conservative pundit Noor bin Laden further brought up insect eating as part of the Great Reset during an appearance on former Trump advisor Steve Bannon's show. This is her quote. I don't want to eat bugs. I don't want to live in the pod. I don't want to be trapped in a digital jail, and nothing they can do will make me.
And is that cross stitch on a tea towel that we can
Yeah.
buy? Or do we have
This
to
will be
make
available on our
magical
website.
We've got to start thinking about merch options.
Yeah.
Well, I vote for that one on it. It's just bollocks.
Okay.
And I can tell that we
Done.
all think it's bollocks because you love conspiracy theories, and even you're
Even
like,
you're, yeah.
where,
No,
like,
I believe. Eat the bugs. Eat the
No,
bugs.
Don't.
On the argument about it being good for you, and the argument about climate change, because the part of the ruling is that people want to eat less meat-based stuff, right? And stuff that is a substitute for protein. So that's part of this. It's what the core of this, right? On that basis, would you eat more bugs?
Actually, when I went to the Science Museum thing, the whole reason they were looking at it was for a sustainability factor. It was easier to produce bugs. We could get a good source of protein for them. And to be honest, I was quite sold. I don't really have a problem with it. As long as it fits in a pie, I'm pretty much on board, is my ruling. Huh?
Bug pie.
Bug pie?
Yeah.
Happy. You may be like...
Fly's Graveyard. Do you remember Fly's Graveyard? It was Current Slice.
Yes.
Well,
Fly's
Yes.
Graveyard.
Yeah, you
So I'd be-
been eating them.
And when I was a kid, I thought that's because that's what they were introduced to me as, Fly's Graveyard. I went, I'm eating flies.
We
What
call them
tastes
dead fly biscuits.
good? And dead fly biscuits as well.
Fly's graveyard is better. That's a better
Fly's
name.
Graveyard.
Yeah. But like, if you cook anything in cheese, gravy, pastry, fry it, people are going to eat it.
Yeah, they will.
It's really, to be honest, I've been in some chip shops. I've had a fair share of summer in there that wasn't meant to be in there.
Absolutely.
So I'm fine.
I mean, we spend our summers in Edinburgh, and they will deep fry anything there.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Mm.
Although, interestingly enough, you're saying about eating less meat. It was this year in Edinburgh. There was a chip van. It was quite a bit hoity-toity, and they made fish and chips, and I couldn't understand why. I love
the
this.
really posh one.
The really right, okay, yes. But what I couldn't understand was how I was having dreams about having those chips, and it's because they were made in beef dripping. So I got converted the other way. Like, I am less a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, but like I grew up in a vegetarian household, so I'm not like, no, eat all the meat.
You live in a vegetarian household?
Yeah, my dad's fully vegetarian since 1983.
Oh.
So like meat was always suspect.
My sister was a veggie growing up, so I also had a vegetarian household, and I blame that for stunting my growth.
I agree.
Yep, must be that and not genetics. So you would eat bugs.
Yeah.
Would you eat them straight after watching A Bug's Life?
They'd taste better
Do
then,
you think
wouldn't
you
they?
could?
Mate, I had a full roast chicken after watching Chicken. That shipped off on me.
She don't care.
I don't care. I'd eat a beef Wellington in a field. I don't, you know what I mean? I just don't care.
Front of the cow's eye.
I know this is probably going to get me cancelled, but I like eating animals. Just a big fan.
What changed it for me about eating animals? Because I tried to be vegetarian and was one of those people for a number of years. And my cousin, who was a really good friend of mine, he was like staunchly vegetarian, and meat is murder and all that. But what changed it for me is I started following Instagram, a page called Nature is Metal, and nature doesn't care. Like, animals will eat other animals alive, and that really changed my point of view. Going, I'm fine eating beef and stuff. Not that beef's my favorite thing. I'm fish. I'd rather have fish, but. I have gone from, oh no, we've got to protect the animals, to, fuck it, even if it's got a face, I'll eat it.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa don't really sell the case very well. Do you remember when they're teaching Simba to eat grubs instead of other animals?
No. And when they did the live action version of The Lion King, that should have been one of the first things. They just had those two.
Yeah.
But no.
Maybe Disney are in on it. No, they're definitely not.
I don't understand. Who is asking for these live action remakes of Disney?
No one.
Because the original ones are sort of like people my age, who like in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
And none of us are asking for it.
They're awful.
And yet you get it anyway.
I think I watched one and I was like, I just don't, because they're not even a different take. They're exactly, almost scene for scene the same.
But shitter.
But
It's
shitter.
shitter. They're the same movie without the magic. Like the remake of The Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's one of my all-time favorite films, not just my favorite Disney. I love Ariel in a way that I can't really describe. And the soundtrack makes me cry from the beginning of the movie till the end. Yes, I'm not gay.
Even when Sebastian's like, under the sea.
I love Sebastian. I love them all. And then the movie was so joyless. And Sebastian in the live action movie is just, it's a horrific looking thing. I was like, who thought this was a good idea?
Does Sebastian in the live action movie have a Jamaican accent?
No, he doesn't have a face though. He's a proper crab. Like they didn't. And Flounder's really creepy. And
Yeah, they're all very.
and
very
Aquafina does Scuttle, and it's awful.
Have you? I presume you have read the original Little Mermaid. By
Oh,
Frances
yeah,
Anderson, which is not nice and Disney.
No, it's dark, isn't it?
Awful. Yeah, like she basically goes to the prince and goes, "You should marry me," and he goes, "Maybe, but I can't because here's the thing: you're a fish." And she's like, "If you don't marry me, I'll die." And she does, and she turns into sea foam
On his wedding night.
on his wedding night.
And when she's walking, the
And I don't know why Disney didn't commission it.
well, the Little Mermaid, Walt Disney was still alive when they were trying to do it. It was going to be a movie in the 50s, and that's why it became part of the. It was the first movie of the Disney Renaissance in 1999.
But I was going to say he died.
Oh yeah, long ago. But that was why it was when it became the Disney. Well, let's do the Little Mermaid. Okay. But they cut out so many things. So like, she pays the sea witch. She's never called anything in the book. She pays the sea witch with her voice, but also she's cursed every step she takes, like walking on a blade.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where she's washing her feet and it's sunset, and there's a young sailor and an old sailor. And the young sailor says, "Oh, the sea is red with the sunset." And the old sailor says, "No, that's blood." And it's her fate. Yeah, like it's really horrific. And when she doesn't get what she wants. She doesn't get the prince at the end. Also,
I think Ursula's really misunderstood.
I love Ursula.
That woman, there's a 16, let's take Disney film, there's a 16-year-old girl who is arsey as fuck, right? She's the youngest and she's like, I'm going to be married and I'm going to be all this, that and the other. And this very smart squid.
Yes.
Octopus.
Octopus, she's an octopus.
Ursula.
Yeah.
Is like, actually, I've been going on for years. I've got loads of knowledge. This bitch don't know her elbow from her ass. I'm going to teach her a lesson. And I, for one, support it.
See, I love Ariel. And I love Ursula, and it's like, don't make me choose. It's Sophie's choice.
That's why I'm trying to do like a sort of crossover.
So if they remade it, we're saying that they should have remade it. The people that made Watership Down should have remade it.
There's the Russian. There's a Russian animated movie of the Little Mermaid that has the full horror of the
really the Russian version.
The Russian version, like it's like it is like Watership Down. Going, why is everyone suffering?
This is real life. But it's not. None of it's real.
Well, the interesting thing about the last thing I want to say about the Little Mermaid is in the book.
I'm so glad we're covering the Little Mermaid in this bug-eating podcast.
I mean, fish eat bugs.
She ate plankton.
Yeah, that's kind of bugs, right?
Nicely done, yeah.
The mermaids didn't have souls, you see, and at the end when she dies, she gets a soul.
An arse one.
I like a bit of soul.
Yeah. Her ending is a happy ending, even though you're like, she became sea foam and didn't get what she wanted. Yeah, but she got
What's
a
the
soul.
difference between a mermaid and a siren? Or are they the same?
No, although in French, an infernal mermaid is a siren, but the difference is a mermaid is a half human, half fish person, and a siren often gets conflated with them, but they're actually half bird. The sirens are from the Odyssey, you know. And they have a siren song and bring you.
Naughty lady.
I did actually.
Okay. Fuck you both.
I didn't have sex as a teenager. That's why I know this.
And I don't like people and like stay inside. That's why I know it.
So go back to the eating. You are what you eat. Eating insects is alien to our normal way of life. All of this is anti-human, anti-life on this planet, said conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. So it's mostly conspiracy theorists that are peddling this. Eating insects is repulsive and un-American, said Fox News host Tucker Carlson in 2019.
I love that.
The reality is that insects and their cousins are part of many cultures' diets today. Cousins, and have been for a very long time. Mexicans put grasshoppers in their tacos. The Chinese cook them in soy sauce. Insects such as silkworms are part of the diet for many living in Southeast Asia and China. The ancient Greeks and Romans ate insects. Aristotle wrote, yeah, we're quoting Aristotle. At first, the males are the sweeter eating, but after copulation, the females, as they are full then of white eggs.
It's like caviar.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So the females taste nicer after copulation.
And I've been trying to tell people this for so many years.
Well, we eat we eat lobsters, we eat crabs. I mean, what are they but sea bugs? You know. Mm-hmm. I love lobsters.
Pliny the Elder.
Oh.
Documented that the Romans of the day enjoyed moth grubs flattened on flour and wine.
Who was that?
Pliny the Elder.
Pliny the Elder.
Who's Humperdinck? What's his name?
If you don't know who Pliny the Elder is, Lou, I'm surprised we let you on.
Isn't he one of Santa's helpers, Pliny the Elder?
It won't surprise you. I didn't write this. I'm just reporting the facts. Fact. Yeah. So So it is true that the insects and bugs have been eaten for a long time, and they are cooked in various different ways. And actually, when you go to Southeast Asia, you do see that quite a lot.
Yeah.
So who's in the right and who's in the wrong? And is it such a bad thing to eat bugs?
What's against the Bible?
Asking this so seriously, and
Yeah.
we all know the answer.
You've got to try and milk this, Luke. We built an entire podcast around this stuff.
Respect you trying, but we all know it's fucking bollocks.
But isn't
You
that
can't shoot the concept to pieces in like episode 2 or 3, whatever the fuck we're on.
Maybe it's sauce, babe, but like.
When Europeans first sailed to what is now the Americas, they encountered indigenous people who included insects who included insects in their diet and reacted with revulsion. Diego Chansa, who sailed with Christopher Columbus on his second voyage, wrote in a letter, "They eat all the snakes and lizards and spiders and worms that they find upon the ground, so that, to my fancy, their bestiality is greater than that of any beast upon the face of..." I thought bestiality was fucking animals.
It is, but like that, their beast-like nature is that bestiality there.
Can be used
Thank you for making me look intelligent.
I also the fact that I looked to you to explain bestiality.
Because I would know.
Yeah, the bestiality is greater than that of any beast upon the face of the earth. There was very much an idea that what you ate back then, that you are what you eat back then, and so many Europeans felt that they needed European foods. There is very much a worry that if you ate the indigenous food, you would become a savage.
This is adding into bugs.
Yeah.
Being
So
bad.
yeah. So what they're saying is it was quite normal behaviour for the indigenous people to eat bugs or lizards or whatever they found on the ground.
They didn't think that when they were bringing back potatoes, though, did
Exactly. That's my point, right? So they brought back other stuff and said, "Oh, this is fine to eat."
they? Yeah.
Well, no. What if potatoes were brought back for their flowers? The potatoes weren't considered a food source until much later, says the Irishman.
He's the voice of authority on this.
Yeah, there were flowers. How potatoes ended up getting eaten was, I think it was a Dutch king and queen. They put guards around their little potato patch, so they became this thing that people really wanted, and that's how potatoes proliferated.
I think potatoes were kind of okay with.
I love potatoes.
Yeah.
They are
I am the cliche when it comes to being Irish. There,
Mm.
I would eat chips with mashed potato and roast potatoes like on the one plate.
Do you know in Hull, our local speciality is called a patty, and it's herb mashed potato fried, which you will usually have with chips.
Mashed potato fried
It's
with chips.
Herb mashed potato fried in like a patty shape like this.
Yeah.
And you have it with chips. And if you're particularly hungry, you could have it in a bread. Well, we would call it a bread cake, but a bread roll.
Yeah.
We love carbs.
Bap.
That is
That sounds
carb-tastic.
great. Yeah.
So potato with a side of potato
In.
in a bun. Oh, nice.
That's living.
We used to have a thing at school in the cafeteria that was specifically unique to our school, and it was called a cheddar buttery. And to this day, I don't really. It was one of those ones where there was so much grease in it, they'd have to wrap it up tight in bags. And like, we would obviously go out drinking underage. Don't do it, kids. But everyone would always come into school the next day, and cheddar butteries would be gone. It was always next to what were them? They weren't brownies. They were like chocolate concrete.
Yeah.
You get a chocolate concrete slab and a cheddar buttery, which was just the base was hard, and then it was like fluffy, and then it had like just pure butter and grease and cheese coming out of it.
State school in the 90s.
How dare you? I was in the noughties.
Is that? But do you think? Okay, so I'm going to link this in. If if indigenous people who ate snakes and grasshoppers and all this stuff,
I can't wait for this
came
link.
over
All right.
and went to a state school in the 90s and saw what we were eating.
They'd be fine.
Yeah, but do you think they would go? They're fucking weird.
They'd
That's
probably
disgusting.
die.
Yeah, they would, because the amount of fat and
cholesterol and-
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You have to build up to that level. I want to know what cheddary buttery is. That what?
A cheddar buttery. I'll try and find. I think my old school page has the recipe somewhere. I'll try and get it.
Gosh.
It was always served by a woman in a hairnet with no teeth. So you get some bits of fag ash on the top,
Nice.
Crispy.
like a nice thing.
Oh, lovely. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where the dinner lady goes, "More testicles."
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a food stall near where I live on Saturdays that sells old school dinners. That's all it does. So you can go get spotted dick and custard, and you can go get that trifle.
You don't
thing.
get spotted dick anymore.
You don't get spotted dick, do you?
And I think it's actually a very good
I love it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to. I'm so lonely.
See, we can do lowbrow.
Do you do pink? Did they do pink custard?
Yeah, they do pink custard. Yeah, because you know some days you would get it with custard and some days you get it with pink custard.
Do you know what I never liked? It's controversial. I never liked the sort of hot dog bun with icing.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Ice finger.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was a bit pointless.
A great drag name.
It was a bit of a letdown because that's all it was.
Yeah, it wasn't even a brioche, but it was like a hot dog.
Yeah.
I remember trying to explain this to an American friend of mine. Which like, you guys still eat like you're in the war. I was like, yes, I do.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
Coming from an American.
This is the thing. Like, I will always accept food criticism from like the French, or the Spanish, or anything. But I am not taking criticism from a country that turned cheese into an aerosol. No, absolutely not. Like,
Have you tried aerosol cheese?
It was awful.
Well, I just found it was very easy to. Wonderful.
No.
Cheese in America is awful.
Yeah, they don't.
It's
The
so gross.
American cheese is just
And they can't do
edible
bread.
plastic. No, it's too sweet. It's all too sweet,
Can't do bread.
and it drives me crazy.
I agree with that. They definitely can't do bread. I think
much
there's a McDonaldization as well of bread.
Yeah.
Because
A McDonaldization of bread.
McDonaldization. That's a geography term.
Well,
Yeah. Anyway, so
this is still going.
Look, do you know how long I spent today?
We are going through all the
Through all the
research.
facts, whether you like it or not, Lou. Stop trying to deviate onto the Little Mermaid. Conservative media influencers tap into the sentiment today. So the sentiment of other cultures eating stuff off the ground, right? I don't want to live like a peasant in the middle of the jungle in Vietnam. I want to live like a civilized person with cultural inheritance, said Noel. So this is the right-wing Bloomberg guy. I'm not going to eat these bugs. And then the criticism of that, which is by an alternative thinker, is they are the easiest punch bag is to pick on something that looks uncivilized, which is true, right? They've gone over there. They've gone, well, we're just going to judge what you're doing because it's not what we do because that's not civilized. But that's only a perspective on what is civilized and what isn't civilized, right?
Yeah, and I think we need to be very clear on this. The only thing that is civilized is what I deem to be civilized. Yes. For anybody who was curious what the etiquette is, it's to follow what I'm doing and tell you. Like, I can't be clearer on it.
What was the cheese thing called again?
The cheddar buttery.
Yeah.
Hey, you say that, right? But, like, everyone from my school year, we've got good immune systems, and I'm going to be very frank on this. All of the girls had pretty banging racks, and I think from the cheddar butteries.
I'm going to take your word for that because literally, if either of us comment on that, this show's getting
They
cancelled.
don't teach you that as a woman. They teach you padded bras. I'm like, girls, get yourself some cheddar butteries, babe. Like, shove that in. Fill you right up.
I'm going to go red now. You've got no idea what to say.
I have no idea what to say because I'm homosexual.
In fairness, though, you do like boobs.
I
Yeah.
do like boobs. I do like boobs. They always look so nice. I always want to lay my head down on them, but it's like,
I get that.
but like it's, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, but like,
it's pretty, but
pretty but don't touch.
yeah.
Which is a phrase I would like all people to abide by. To be honest.
So what do we think overall? If
I love that you're
society-
still
Look,
trying.
someone's got to keep us on the fucking tracks.
He will have his own chat show. He will.
The persistence. Is
Yes, it's the
admirable.
persistence. I'm not going to make news night like this. Look,
You fucking low budget news like this. Listen, I fucking told you this.
I'd like to see that. I'd watch news night more if that was the case.
I would.
I want you to have your own chat show.
If there was a societal move that to introduce more bugs into cuisine, would you buy into it? As long as you can still eat your meat and your cheddar buttery. Would you be prepared to eat bugs as well? In the same way we've embraced certain foods in the last 20 years that we wouldn't have eaten when we were in the 80s or 90s.
Oh wait, so what are we classing? Are we classing insects as a type of meat or a type of? Are we
A type of
creating
protein.
A type of protein.
Yeah.
So they have their new specific category.
Yeah.
Because it's not just insects like grubs and stuff. Like it's mealworms, and whatever.
Also, if an insect's called grub, it's there to be eaten. Isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
That's what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Classic French.
They put it on
cuisine.
themselves, if anything.
Yeah.
I've had snails. That's not a bug, is it? That's
No, but it's eating like
it's a gateway bug.
it's a game.
Yeah. The French are onto something. Do you like snails?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think it's one of the things that it tastes like whatever you smother it in.
Yeah.
It's the same with frog's legs. I had them and all.
Yeah.
Just tastes like,
Tastes
well, they've
whatever
got
you
like
smother.
a chicken kind of texture. But it's
They deep
weird.
fry them, don't they? Or some I think
Mine
in
weren't deep fried. They were really nice, actually. But do you know what? There wasn't a lot of them. Frogs, quite small. The French, not big on portion size.
not big on portion
I'd
size.
say. There are, to be honest, all food I'm keen on, with a big, huge exception of melon. Any type of melon, don't put me anywhere near it.
any type of melon.
I despise melon.
Oh my gosh.
This is more controversial than anything else we've talked about this entire podcast.
So overrated. I hate that if you try and buy a fruit salad from any store, it's about 17 types of melon, a grape, and a slice of pineapple. I don't like it. And everyone's like, oh, it's so refreshing. It doesn't taste of anything. I'm like, yes, do you not see that? That's the fucking problem. It doesn't taste of anything. Unless you do the thing where you like, when I was in Australia, they used to do, you go to the cricket and you take a watermelon and you'd have filled it with vodka the night before.
Oh yeah.
So when you eat the slices. But then I was like, well, this is vodka.
It's just like vodka jelly, but vodka melon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would accept that because I wanted to get pissed. But melon can jog the fuck on. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast? I mean, it's too late now. I've been doing it all through
Far,
the
far
episode.
too late.
Who takes melon to the cricket?
Australians.
Do they?
We take a hamper.
Yeah.
They take melon. Vodka melon.
That's a real cultural difference,
Do
isn't
you know
it?
what? It's quite good going to the cricket because I've been to like Lords and the Oval and stuff. And as a woman, because it's just essentially an old boys club,
Yeah.
I could have pissed in every cubicle. They were all free. It was amazing. There was a line for the gents. I was like, see you later, boys. And like, it was a great experience for toilet access, if nothing else.
It's just a day for old men to go out and have a little nap in the afternoon, isn't it, really?
Which is why I thoroughly enjoyed it. Because I too got drunk and had a nap in the afternoon. And then at some point, somebody claps and just goes 6. And you're like, oh. And then you have to have another Scotch egg.
Have to.
Yeah, that's part of the rules of cricket. I don't know if you know.
I actually worked at a cricket club for 2 years and I still don't know what the rules are.
Nobody does.
No. Because no one cares. They're not there. It's just there for you to go to your wife. Oh, I'm off out for the cricket for the day, love. Do you love cricket? Yeah, I love cricket.
I tell you what, this is one of the reasons I want a wife, because the amount of men that were there with the most gorgeous hampers their wives had packed them off with. I was like, if I had a wife, I'd get one better quality.
Get yourself a wife.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, the hampers
Please,
are
your
gorgeous.
catch.
But the hampers were, and I'm talking like beautiful wicker hampers, and they opened them out and they had the plates. It was homemade Scotch, a piccalilli.
Oh, yeah.
There,
Oh, yeah.
see?
Yeah.
And there was all this stuff. And I was like, you don't know how lucky you are. And they were so good. And I was sat there with some melon. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
If you were given the choice between a melon or a plate of bugs,
Bugs.
bugs all day long.
Bugs all day long.
Interesting.
Munch, 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 munch.
Crunchy.
You?
Oh, melon.
Yeah.
But I like melon.
Favorite melon?
Favorite melon.
Watermelon, but
How was the podcast? Well, we had to ask about our favourite melon. It got quite dry.
Once
at the
Phil had
end,
got through all the facts.
yeah.
I'm very appreciative of the research.
Thanks.
And I think you've done a really good
Thanks.
job, even though it is utter bollocks.
Utter nonsense. Yeah, yeah, complete. But you do believe this,
Yeah.
but less so than you do a lot of other conspiracy theories.
No, this is fact. This is going to happen. They want us just to eat the bugs. Bugs are easier to breed. And that's why you're getting all this information like cockroach milk being so nutritious. Oh, that's coming too.
No,
Oh yeah.
to be honest.
In fairness, 20 years ago, we would not have thought we would be drinking milk from an almond, would we? So,
Milk those little almond titties.
yeah.
See, I'm okay with it. Milk light suspension or whatever, but almond milk just makes me think that almonds have nipples, and that grosses me out.
I quite like the idea of almonds having nipples.
No, our udders.
Do you know what I bet is a conspiracy theory?
Wow.
Is the use of oat milk more in coffee shops, because I think it's a conspiracy to stop northern people being hydrated because we can't pronounce oats. Do you know how many times I'm in a coffee shop, I'm like, oat milk. I'm like, are you having a stroke? I'm like, do you want one?
I like a chai latte made with oat milk. I think it tastes better. So I do. But when it comes to other beverages, it has to be cow juice.
This is controversial, apparently, in this day and age. Do you know what I like? Glass of milk
Just a glass of semi-skimmed.
Gold
Yeah.
top.
with a nice biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cookies and milk.
What's them family selection ones? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know they've
Yeah.
with the thing,
Yeah.
like the jammy dodge one.
Yeah.
And I also like it's like the Fox's cream one or whatever
It's
it is.
very regressive. That's very interesting, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
But you know, because I always save a digestive for when I'm ill. Did you ever get that when you're ill and you would have to have like lemonade and a digestive? Is this
think that's a northern
that might be a
thing.
northern thing.
Yeah.
because it was the sugar in it. It was either that or a Lucas.
Lemonade.
Lucas, no, we all have Lucas.
Yeah, Lucozade, yeah.
Lucas.
Have you actually Cal Paul? Have you actually Lucasade? Or is this
Only get Lucozade from the chemist. Like it was.
I remember that very distinctly.
It was a medicinal thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how much a Lucasade is now?
Loads.
It's £2.
Yeah.
I'd rather take me chances dying.
I love Lucozade.
My favorite Lucozade was Lucozade lemon, and they stopped making it.
They did.
Love a Lucozade
They did.
lemon, and that used to just perk me up.
I honestly believe it still can cure everything.
Oh yeah, because we were yeah.
Fact.
Did you ever have Glucose Plus?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember Glucose Plus? You're a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So there was Lucozade and Glucose Plus, and they were like the same. And you were a Lucozade kid or a Glucose Plus kid. And I remember being.
And they had the tablets, didn't they? Yeah. They were like fizzy tablets. You either put them in water or you could
Like
could chew them.
Barocca?
Like Barocca, except that you could eat them as they were.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was
Probably
the
one
80s and
after
90s.
after a plate of bugs.
Well, the
digestive system.
coloring was probably from bugs.
Yeah,
'Cause
probably.
it was bright orange.
Yeah, they were.
Bright
They
red.
were frightening looking things.
Yeah.
How long have we done? Okay. Lou, would you like to tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing and, yeah, enlighten them?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at, what's my tag handle? @_L Atkinson_ because it looks aesthetically pleasing. I'm doing some tour shows and that. I've also, Mega Soz Boys, got my own podcast, which you can listen to from January.
called?
It's called Be Fairy Afraid, and it's all about fairy tales, myths, and legends. And it's with absolute wonderful human being Fiona Ridgewell.
Yay.
I'm doing that, and yeah, I'm just doing all kinds of bollocks. Just give us a follow, will you? Because it just helps me.
Very good. Do you want a joke to end the show?
Is it about bugs?
Yeah.
Go on then.
What kind of bugs smell the best? Deodorants. Deodorants.
When's the joke? Oh, we've had it.
That's the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. See you in the next episode. Bye.